Hey everyone, welcome back to a new tutorial topic. So we will continue the same topic, that was the instance initializer block I had discussion. So here I'm going to explain you about few top tips about the instance initializer block. So as I told you in the last video, the instance initializer block is created when instance of the class is created. Number first. Second, the instance initializer block is invoked after the parent class constructor is invoked. That means after super constructor call, by default inside the constructor super will be called, and what will happen, so it will check there is an initializer block, and it will copy the data and into it will copy and paste inside the constructor. So basically first time constructor will invoke only, but will print the initializer block value. Okay, so the instance initializer block comes in the order in which they appear, how you have written. So here I'm going to give you one example, so you can see the all the three things can be covered in the topic. So here in the same program only I will continue. I have just click my class name initial block. So here I have created one a constructor, so that is instance block. Okay, so I'm not using this data variable. I will let you know. Okay, first here I have written the instance initiate block, so that is the constructor. This is the constructor. Okay, so here I am going to write one message, hello constructor. Okay, so again I have created I am going to create one more class here. So what I will do, wait, here I'm going to create a class name, suppose first one, this is my class name. Inside the class I will be creating one constructor, so that is the first one, and here I'm going to write this line, hello constructor, and this I have this class I have closed here. So you have to be remember how many curly braces you are opening, that you have to close. Okay, so next what I'm trying to do is just I will be creating one more class here, system dot out dot println. So this is the class I have created in slash block, and then here I'm going to create this class extend. What is my class? First one. This is my class. Here I'm trying to create this, and also here I'm going to create a one constructor, and inside this constructor I'm going to create a super. If you are not using by default, it will be there, but here is this time I'm using this one, and trying to write the one message again. So this is child class constructor. This is I have written here, and what I will do, this is the constructor I have closed here, and here this is the initializer block I'm using. So here I'm going to write one message, that is initializer block. This is the initializer block, and now I'm going to create the object of which class, that this class. So here what I will do, one object is enough. Okay, we'll see what will happen. Run as Java application, you can see the hello constructor, initializer block, and hello child class constructor. So this is the sequence you have given, so that's why it is calling like this. I hope you understand the concept. Question can be asked in your interview, first instance initializer block will be invoked or constructor will invoke. So the answer is constructor will invoke first, but what constructor does, it will copy, it will by default it will use a super and copy the instance initializer block inside the constructor. So that's why first instance initializer block value will be printed, then constructor value will be printed, but internally when you compile your code, so by default constructor invoked first. So this is the answer, and I have given the example, hope it is clear to you. So next topic I'm going to explain you about the final keyword. So final itself name, you can understand the final keyword. Basically, in Java there is no constant. Okay, and final you can use with variable, method, and class. So finally, finally, and finalize. Sometimes interviewer can ask you the difference between final, finally, and finalize. What is the final? Final is a keyword. Finally is a block, and finalize the method. So that method is used for the garbage collector. We will be discussing about here. So first we are going to discuss about the final keyword. So final keyword in Java used to restrict the user. If you have written any value as a final, so you cannot change that value. So this is the meaning of the final. And that final keyword can be used with variable, method, and class. So we'll see how it will be working here. So here I'm going to use a new class, and here I'm going to create the name of this class, final class. Just for reference, I have given this name. Okay, you can give any name. I have some examples. So ABC, I have already given some classes name. So this is my class. Okay, so how it will be working as a final. So suppose if I will create one variable here, integer data. This is the variable I have created, and is data value I have written the 90. So this is the instance variable value. If I will try to write the final int data is equal to 90, though, so this will be the final variable. What it will be? The final variable. Okay. So now what will do? I will tell you the differentiate. Suppose I have created one method here, display. What is the method name? Is display. Display is a method I have created here, and inside display I am trying to change the value of data. Here I have written the 100. So you can see this is the final variable, and here I am trying to write the data is equals to 100. If you will be writing your code in Notepad, so it will be giving error, but here you can see the final field, final class data cannot be assigned, because you cannot reassign the final variable value if you have already assigned. So this is the use of final. So here if I will be compiling, so though also it will giving this error only. So this is the final. If you want to see, I can show you, but in Eclipse ID you are using, by default it will show you the error what you are going to do is. So this is the beauty of this ID. Okay, so here if you will be using the object dot display, this is the method, and suppose you are trying to print it, although it will not print, it is already giving the error, but just for reference I'm trying to run as Java application. See, the final field, final class data cannot be assigned, so you cannot do that. It will give the compile time error, so it can be asked in your question. Now we will be discussing about the final method. So if you make any method as a final, you can write it. If you try to make any method as a final, you cannot override it. So let's see the example here. I have created one class here, class new. Suppose this is my class. Okay, in this class what I'm trying to do is I have created one method as a final. Suppose void display. This is my final method I'm trying to use here. So now here I'm just writing this hello display method. This is the message I have written here. And now in this class I will be extend inheritance concept. You have already I have already teach you, might be. So the same method I'm using here, and inside this method, forget it about, I will not use this one. So in this method, suppose I'm writing okay this. So you can see error, it's showing the error here. So you can see here also, if I will compile, it will give the same error. Remove final modifier of new display. Okay, because you have already used. Override comes com.java.new.display cannot override the final method from new, because it is final. So you cannot override the final method if you are declaring any method as a final. So you cannot override it, although if you will try to do it, it will give the compile time error. You can see the same error you are getting here. Now final class. So if you are making any class as a final, you cannot extend that class. Suppose what I will do, this is the final class. Okay, remove this method. Okay. So you are trying to do, what you are trying to do is, you are trying to extend this class. You were getting here. So you can see the type final class cannot subclass the final class name. So you cannot extend that class. If you will try to compile this code, you will be getting the compile time error. So basically final can be used as a variable, as a method, and as a class. But if you are using final as a variable, you cannot change the value of it. As a method you are using, you cannot override it. And if you are using as a final class, so you cannot extend that class. So the question can be asked your interview, what is the blank or uninitialize the final variable? If you are not initializing any variable, so what is it? So suppose I have written one variable here, final integer data, and I didn't initialize that, so that is called as a blank final variable. So you can reassign that. I mean, inside the constructor also initializer block, the same concept which we have covered you can use. Also, you can write the static blank final variable or static in any data type you are using. So you can use the static variable always. If you are not initialize the static variable, you can initialize that static block. So that I have already covered. So this is about that final variable. So next we will be moving into the polymorphism. Next concept is the runtime polymorphism from the OOPS concept. So the runtime polymorphism we'll be discussing here. Let me create one new class here. I'll tell you the definition. Definition you can Google as well, but try to listen as much as possible. Here my main agenda is to be explaining about the code. Basically, polymorphism in Java is a concept by which we can perform a single action in different ways, like one name, many forms. So polymorphism itself, one name, many forms. So there are two types of polymorphism in Java, that is compile time polymorphism and runtime polymorphism. We can perform polymorphism in Java by method overloading and method overriding. In Selenium, if you are a tester, so you know this is the most important concept. As a tester, you have to explain about this concept, and where you are using in your code as a tester, that is also you have to know if you are going for any interview. So if you have overloaded a static method in Java, it is the example of compile time polymorphism. Okay, so we will be focusing about this chapter, both compile time polymorphism and the runtime polymorphism. So runtime polymorphism, or you can say dynamic method dispatch, is a process which in which a call to an overridden method is resolved at runtime rather than compile time. So you are trying to resolve that at runtime rather than the compile time. That is called the runtime polymorphism. So basically, in polymorphism, we are having two things. One is upcasting and another is the downcasting. So what is the upcasting? If the reference variable of parent class refer to the object of child class, if the reference of parent class refer to the object of child class, it is known as the upcasting. For example, you can see here. Suppose I have created a class A. What I have created? Class A. And then I have created class B, and I am trying to extend. This is also in the part of example only. Extend class A. Okay. And when I'm trying to create the object of this class, so how you will be creating the object? The object which I will be creating, the reference variable of parent class and the object variable of child class. So this is known as the upcasting in Java. Okay. So upcasting, we can use the reference variable class type or an interface type. So this is the example I have given. Interface type, how you will be using the interface type? Nothing, you will be using the interface here. Suppose I am using the interface. So what we will do in case of interface? We will be using the implement. What we will be using here? Implements. In case of class, we use the extends keyword. Okay. more than one or two also you can implement the interface, but in case of class you cannot do, because you cannot extend more than one class. So this is the concept of polymorphism. So we will be cover the example here. I have created one class here and I'm going to create one method. Suppose the method name is run, void run. This is my method. Okay, what I will do, I will try to write hello poly class run method. Okay, now I will be creating one more class here. Okay, this is my class name. In this class also I have created the same method. I have written this. Okay, so here I'm choosing I've written main poly class, hello poly class run. These are the two methods I have written. So what I will do in this class, I will try to extend which class, main poly. And now what is the concept of the casting? Reference variable of parent class and the object of reference variable of parent class and the object of child class. You are using this concept. This is known as the upcasting. And obj dot run you are calling. So it will show what will be called, what will be the output. Okay, so the output will be hello play class run. It should be the output. I will explain you why. Hello poly class run. So basically this is the output. So when you are trying to using the upcasting, reference variable of parent class and the object of child class, it is called the upcasting. This is the example of runtime polymorphism upcasting concept. Hope you understand that. Okay. And static means you are using the simple overriding method. If you are using like this, poly obj is equals to new poly, and then you are trying to create or call the very method. So it is the concept of static one or compile time polymorphism. So hope it is clear to you. If any doubt, any question, you can ask. Okay, let's move into the different topic from the concept. That is the static binding and the dynamic binding. We are going to cover new topic. So connecting a method call to the method body, it is known as the binding. What is the binding? Connecting a method call to the method body, it is known as the binding. So there are two types of binding in Java, that is static binding and dynamic binding. You also can say early binding or late binding. Late binding is a dynamic binding or early binding is a static binding. Okay, so what is the difference in these two? So when type of object is determined at compile time, that is known as the compile time binding or static binding. When type of the object is determined at runtime, it is known as the dynamic binding. So you have to use the instance of variable type you are using. It is not much use in Java, but yeah, if you know about this concept, this is good. So each variable has a type. It may be primitive and non-primitive type. Let me show you the example. Okay, so that will be good for you, because after showing the example you might be having the clear idea why we are using this. Okay, basically we use the instance of operator. What we use the instance of operator. if you are using any class and that you are trying to extend that particular class and you are creating that particular object, that is the object have a type. Means you can see in this example also main poly obj is equals to new poly. So if I will be using main poly obj is a reference variable. Okay, that is the object. Which type of object it is? Main poly. Main poly is a class. So this is the concept and we call this a static binding. Means if you are creating any class and you are having this method and you are trying to directly use that particular method. Let me give you the example in this class. Okay, let me create a new class. Static binding and dynamic binding. Okay, in this suppose I have created one class. Class bind, suppose I have used here and I'm using this method bind method. Suppose in this method I will using simply you are using object dot, your method is bind method, and then you are trying to run this example. This is called the static binding. Normally you are using and the output will be bind method. This is called the static binding or compile time binding. So now we will be talking about the dynamic one. Dynamic one is the upcasting the concept. So here I will be using the new class. Suppose that class I have using the bind class. Inside this bind class also I am having the same method but not private. Bind class, this is what I have given, and this I am trying to use what I will be using here, bind reference variable of parent class and the object of child class. Change type of object. No, this is wrong. I will be using like this, but what I need to do is extends bind. Now that's okay. This is called the dynamic binding or upcasting or whatever you want to call this concept from the runtime polymorphism. Okay. Now, as I told you, we will be discussing about the instance of operator. In this example only, I'm going to explain you. You also call the Java instance of. Basically, the instance of operator use to the initiate whether the object is instance of the specified type or class. So in Java, instance in Java is also known as the comparison operator because it compares the instance with the type. It returns either true or false if we are applying the instance of operator with any variable that has none value. So if it is null, it will return the false. So basically instance of is used to compare, the operators. Suppose I in this class only am going to use. Okay, I will remove this one. Here I have used the public class. I will use the extend keyword. I will remove this one. I don't need any extend. Here only I will cover public static void main. Okay, in this public static void main method I will be creating the object of this class. And now what I will try to print is sys so system.out.println. In this I am trying to print off use instead of this what I will be printing obj. What is my reference variable obj, and this is the predefined instance of what is your class name, binding is your class name. So what will be the output? So it will check the obj is really the type of binding. Yes, it should print the true. It is printing the true. Okay, so basically this is the way we use the instance of operator. Okay, this is only we are having this use, nothing much. You no need to be go deeper. If you want, you can read it out about that. So next we will be talking about the abstract class in Java.